Youngstown Business Incubator, and we're lucky enough to have Carmella with us. Our team is all remote, as you can see. Welcome to my childhood bedroom. Carmella is with us today, and she's going to go through sort of like pivoting round 2 and keeping your business relevant through these challenging times that we're all currently going through. And people are working remote, and people are not in that normal state of business mind that we're all used to. So thanks for joining me, Carmella.
Thank you for having me, Cora. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited that we're able to actually help and extend this information to those who are following us and new and existing people. So I just so you all know, I am a certified business advisor and have been for the last nearly 2.5 years with the Incubator. But I am also an entrepreneur at heart. So the things that I'm talking to you about, I have done them. I am doing them, and I understand your pain, right? More now than ever, we want to make sure that we come together and share our knowledge and help each other to grow and to maintain and to build each other up. So with that said, the pivot part 2, right? So before we go into all you need to do, you need these 3 things as far as technology is concerned. What I want you to do is go back to the drawing board, right? In order for you to understand the best way for you to pivot, you're going to need to completely understand why you started in the first place, right? And before you even understand why you started in the first place, I want you to understand the definition of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is a person, an individual, a company who actually gets paid to solve a problem, right? So you started your company, you started your consulting company, you started your hair business, whatever that is, because you wanted to solve a problem. You saw there was a need and you wanted to fulfill that need, right? So you have your problem. I want you to, we're going to be interactive. I want you to write down what problem you're solving with your business, okay? Write that down.
I'm writing this down.
Yes.
So a little fun fact about almost everybody at YBI, in addition to doing what we do to help entrepreneurs, most of us are entrepreneurs ourselves. So I have a couple little side hustles. Carmella has her own business. So we are speaking truth here. We are speaking from relevance. We're speaking from things that we're all currently doing at this time. So what am I writing down? Tell me one more time.
I want you to write down so you're an entrepreneur. So what problem are you solving with your business? Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna tell you mine because I wrote down mine, right? Outside of being a consultant, as far as business advising, I make hair care products, and I saw that more women in the Valley needed to understand how to better maintain their curly, kinky hair. So I made a product to help moisturize that hair, right? You got your problem written down that you're solving, Core?
I do.
Okay, great. Now, the next P, there's 3 P's, right? Is passion. Passion is basically your underlying purpose of what keeps you going, right? What is it that you're passionate about? You really love designing. You really love doing hair. You really love helping people. You really love baking kolaches. You really love baking cookies and bringing smiles on faces. Like, what are you passionate about? Okay. So while you're all writing down what you're passionate about, I'm going to tell you what I'm passionate about. I am passionate about, and my purpose has always been to help build people. So I make hair care products for curly, kinky hair. And my passion is I love helping people and building people. You're like, how, right? Well, the end result on my end is that most people who have curly, kinky hair really don't really love it as much. They're not as, we're increasing it now, but they weren't confident in the natural hair as it grew out of their head. So I was helping them feel more comfortable and confident, and therefore building up them as individuals. Okay. You got yours down, Corey?
I got it.
Yay. Okay. So now comes the 3rd P, and that is you're in the business, you're passionate about it, everything's going great, and then you hit a pain point. Okay. You hit a bump in the road. Now, the question is, do you stop or do you keep going? And for those, if you're local or if you're in the area or wherever you are, you know that you can relate this to speed bumps. If you're driving or you're in an Uber or you're in a taxi cab and your car hits a speed bump, does it stop? No, it doesn't. It keeps going to get to its destination.
It's a little uncomfortable in the moment, but
it is. Just like, good God, what's going on here? Can you drive, sir? Driving a car. Why don't y'all fix the streets, right? So all of this is going through your mind. You might even get a flat tire, but those pain points are necessary. They're necessary because they're going to go back and prove how passionate you are about solving your problem, okay? And this is where we arrive at today, okay? So how passionate are, so the problem will get you started. The passion will keep you going, okay? So once we understand that, now we can get to the point where we sit down and write down our skill sets, right? So if you've been baking, cooking, designing, making stuff, if you've been doing anything that's a product-based business, that you're now, or service-based business that you can't physically do anymore, you have a skill, okay? So within those passions, it comes your skill points, right? So Cora, if you don't mind us talking about you, if that's okay.
sure.
You have a marketing company, right? You do excellent work for YBI, but I know you hustle for your clients, right? So you're really good at putting colors together. You're really good at putting shapes together and making it look like super seamless. I've done stuff and taken it to you, and then you do stuff and it looks, I'll be like, how do you do that? Like for real, how do you do that?
It's a little different.
It's a little different. It makes it pop, right? So that's a skill set that you've been providing for your clients who were able to fully afford your full services. Now, so write down those skills. What you can do now is you can break down all those 5 skills. You don't make one class up about 5 skills, but you can make up 5 different small mini workshops on how to achieve color popping, noticeability, blah, 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 blah. And guess how much you can sell those for?
How much?
$5.
$5. I could use $5 right now.
Use $5 right now. There are 100 people, I'm sure, who have $5 that they can give you to get to increase the skill set that they can no longer pay you for full price.
Sure. And just to even think about that, so think about your industry when you're doing this too. Mm-hmm. Marketing is an industry that everybody needs. Everybody needs marketing, and they need to do it well, and they need to do it right. Not everybody can afford a marketing firm who's going to produce, outrageous results, because with those outrageous results, they're going to cost you an outrageous price. Mm-hmm. So think about your industry as you're sort of trying to repivot yourself and come up with what you can teach other people and relay that information. And everybody, I feel like I've heard multiple times, well, I don't want to teach my information to people because people are just going to go do it. No, because I am from the generation where someone can teach me how to do something and it's great to have that knowledge and be able to do it. I'm not going to do it all the time. When I'm back to a place where I can pay to have it done, I'm going to pay to have it done. So I think it's important to think about your industry too.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing, we have more time and less money.
Absolutely.
So that person right now has more time to learn this skill because they have less money. So they'll pay you less money because they have more time to do it. But once the economy is back up and running and people are now busy and taking kids to school and band class and all these other shenanigans, they're going to have less time and more money to pay you to pick up where you left off.
Exactly. Once we get back into that routine.
Right. And I think that's where no one can replace you, but knowledge is power, and when you share your knowledge, that's where the income comes in at, right? Mm-hmm. So with that said, you're probably saying like, so how the heck do I do this? Does people cash at me for it? And we do a private group? No, boo-boo, don't do none of that. Don't do no cash app.
I mean, you can, but it is not encouraged.
Yeah, it's not encouraged. It's not really the most professional piece, but there is a way. Okay. There is a way. Now we have our like 5 little classes that maybe take 15 minutes, right? 15 minutes to do to talk to people about. They're $5. And even if you want to bundle those 5 classes, they can get all 5 classes for $20. Same great thing for bundling purpose. But you're like, well, how do I get these classes in one place, right? Is that the question you're asking me, Corey? I feel it
That is the question I'm asking you. Carmella, how do I get these classes in one place? Tell me.
Right. So what the heck are you talking about, right?
Where can I do this at?
Where? I'm going to tell you where, because
I need that $5.
I know, me too. So I'm going to tell you this. A month ago, I did this exact same thing. I signed up for a Teachable account. Teachable, Teachable, right? A Teachable account. The Teachable account can be free for you up to 10 students, where you actually create a school, right? Okay. And it can house all of your curriculum. It actually can collect all your payments too. Okay. It's very seamless.
Very free. There's a free version.
There's a free version for up to 10 students that you enroll.
Free.
Yes. So, and let's say, for instance, you make a new school every time for every topic, right? So you can get 10 students in each school who are interested in paying you to sign up. If they don't pay you, you have to kick them out just to keep it free. Once you get on $10, you need to pay, I believe it's $39 a month for the school, but there are ways to keep it free. Okay. So you're like, well, how do I get them into, how do I reach out to people? You know, am I on my personal page? Like, well, you know, like, hey, take my stuff, you know, sign up for my class. No. So a great way to reach people is by creating an event, and the event can be created on Eventbrite. Okay.
So you're using multiple platforms over here.
Oh, damn. It is a triage to help revive my business. Ooh, say that for the people. Let me write that down.
So, and just so everybody's aware, these are all platforms that we use either in our personal lives or through YBI. So these are all stuff that we're not just searching the internet and telling you this, you know, like a possibility for you. This is all stuff that the people at YBI who are working with entrepreneurs every day, we're using this. We use Eventbrite for almost every event that we do at the Incubator. Carmella uses Teachable for her side business, or for her side business, but for her business or personal business, in addition to what we do at YBI. So these are all curated, actual platforms that we're using that we recommend. So,
totally.
So tell us more about Teachable, because I'm actually really interested in this.
Yeah, so Teachable is, and let me see if I have it up on here really, really quick. Oh, no, it's not going to work on here because it's.
And I dropped the link to Teachable in the comments too, if anybody's interested in going there and learning more about it. I put that right in the comments for everybody.
So Teachable is a platform for creators, right? It's for people who want to start consulting and things along those lines. It is a great platform that's been recommended by very top-notch individuals. You can create and sell beautiful online courses, right? I know you see a lot of courses out there that are for free, but as a consultant, and my mentor always tells me that what you have to say is valuable and you should get paid for it, right? So right now on this platform, there are 83,000 instructors online worldwide. There are 257,000 active courses and 23 million students learning.
Okay. And the topics on Teachable are anything, right?
Just from how to sew, how to cook, how to do how to braid properly, how to grow a business, how to do marketing, how to make whatever it is you want to make. There are so many. It's endless. Or even how to play a game the right way. Like it's crazy that what's out there, because anything that is in this brain is valuable. And if someone wants to learn about what you have, but you know why? When they learn what's in your brain, it saves them time researching and finding out.
Exactly.
And actually it speeds up their growth, right? So I will tell you this. So I know I own a hair and beauty company. I've been doing that for 7 years. But prior to that, for 5 years, I was a certified mutual funds advisor with a company, right?
A multifaceted Carmella.
I was a district leader. I had agents from New York to Atlanta. So I was hustling. Like I was kicking butt, right? So, and I was teaching people understanding the basics of money. I did it for 5 years. Like I was all in. Like y'all, if you would have knew me, didn't know the story. Who in the world is this chick? So nonetheless, I had done that for a long, long time. And I wasn't just passionate about it because I was in the business. I was passionate because my purpose was to build people. Always underlying thing, right? So I would now I'm home sitting still. I was just looking through my list of skills that I've had and what I've done over my lifetime, because we have time to do that. And I was like, Carmella, you know all about the stock market. You know about the basics of investing, you know, understanding money and things like that. And, you know, right now I still do trade. I do day trading. So I'm not teaching day trading, but we're teaching investment. Don't ask me. That's down the line. But we do the basics. And what I found out is that people, especially minority population who don't have access to a lot of that information on how to invest and where to invest, were really, and especially women, were really interested in learning about how to invest. So I launched a course on Teachable, and literally I got up at 6 a.m. on Wednesday, launched it by that afternoon. By Saturday, when I had my first class, I had about 17 students signed up. Yeah, I was pretty myself.
And that was minimal effort, quite honestly.
Minimal effort. And now you're probably like, well, I gotta get all this curriculum together and all this other stuff. I didn't have all my slides together on my first class because I have 3 classes and I have another class coming up. I eventually built up to that. So point right there. I'm from the school of perfection along the way, right? Mm-hmm. Excellence is being the best at what you can be at that moment, and then increasing your capacity of excellence on round 2, round 3, right? Mm-hmm. So I use Zoom. Zoom is another tool. That's where I record all of my classes, right? So with that said, they bought my class. I didn't have any written down curriculum. I had some basic bullet points, but they got all the information in the Zoom class that they were sent after they paid their money. And then after class was over, I created the PowerPoint from my notes that I had written down.
So you're doing these pre-recorded, they're not like a live class, which is another important note.
So I keep all the recorded stuff up. So if someone just wants to go in and now just buy a class, they can go and buy a class and it's recorded. But if you want to join my live, I'll do a live like every other month.
Gotcha. So there's multiple options too, which is important too, because I know some people might think that going live is a little bit weird when you're not talking to anybody else. I mean, it's a little awkward even just talking to Carmella, and this is someone that I work with every single day almost. So when there's not a crowd of people, it's weird. It's a little awkward, and it takes some getting used to. So having the option to do both, I think, is something that, you know, is worth pointing out to anybody who might be considering doing this too.
Right. Totally. And I'm gonna tell you this, Core, like, even though we had for that first class about 17 sign up, maybe one came and showed up to the live class while I was teaching. So I had to sit there as if I had a full room and teach my heart out. And then when someone finally came in, I was like, ooh. So even if you have the class and people either sign up or don't sign up, still run the Zoom recording as if someone was there. Record your actual thing and then be done with it. Okay. Sure. So now, for instance, let's say we're in the class. They can't talk, right? You can't hear them, but you can still be interactive with people. So we're going to give an example right now. I'm like, for all those who are watching, in the comments, put 1 if you're really, really learning a lot from this live, or press 3 if you're kind of like, oh, this is okay. You know, and then I didn't want to put you stuff, number 2.
And we're not offended by the 3s, maybe even the 5s. If you think it's real bad, we're not offended. We are here growing with everybody else. And that's sort of what makes entrepreneurship sort of so special in a sense. That's why we enjoy doing what we're doing, because every day that we work with an entrepreneur to help them go to the next level, we're taking us to the next level as well, because it's helping us prepare for the next client that we meet and the next idea that walks through the door. So we're very much, we consider ourselves entrepreneurs almost as much as an entrepreneur does. So
amen to that. Now, Corey, I have a good idea for you for a class.
Do you?
I do.
I'm ears.
Yes, I want you in your off time to specifically walk people through Canva and how to become, and you can have an intro to Canva and you can have an expert level of Canva.
And Canva, that's another thing too. I think that's worth, it's worth noting for anybody that's listening here, even as you continue to pivot. That's really what we're talking about here is how do you stay relevant? We always say that marketing is super important and you need to have good marketing and a solid brand, which is my sort of specialty and my favorite thing to talk about is your branding. I love talking about branding. I love talking about good branding, bad branding, whatever the case may be. Canva, although it's not the most professional thing out there and you're not going to get, Photoshop results or Adobe results, it's still worthwhile, easy to use, very, very simple, and it makes you look just that much more professional.
Totally.
I digress, but
no, that was perfect. You know why? Because a lot of people don't. And again, people might not necessarily know how to navigate Canva, and they might not be able to pay a marketing firm, but they can pay you to show them how to use Canva, right? Now, one thing I want to see, because I see in the comments that Victoria, who is at Joe Max, we miss you all too. Let's talk about the coffee business, right? Because, we're used to going into the coffee house, right? And getting coffee or tea. I am now officially a tea drinker. I have recovered from coffee and no more. So this is tea in this.
I'm struggling without the coffee runs, let me tell you, Victoria. The 3 o'clock coffees or the 2 o'clock coffees, even the morning coffee runs that we would do, I'm struggling without them. So coffee is an important business to talk about at this point.
It is. It is. And especially if you're not I'm a bougie coffee drinker, right? When I was a coffee drinker. So if you could run Corey a cup of coffee at 3 o'clock, the 3 o'clock afternoon coffee rush, do you know that people will love that? So now we're talking about pivoting for a coffee business, right? We're not leaving the house. We really want our coffee. Either can I buy my coffee bags from you online and you deliver them? 1. 2, can you deliver me a cup of coffee in the afternoon, right? And I know that this might be, and I would have you deliver it yourself, have one of your staff, be like, hey, we're doing a 3:30 coffee run on this side of town, 2:30 coffee run on this side of the town, and just actually implement that. Keep the dollars to yourself, visit your people, right? So you're making that personal interaction, kind of sort of from afar off with a face mask and gloves and everything else.
All the social distancing rules apply.
Even on you know what? I'm so excited now. So what if it were you ordered it, you paid for it through however you pay for it, right? And then they leave it on your porch with a little heart, a little love note, we miss you. Here's your cup of coffee. That would be super dope.
And that's very much a you comment that I want to point out too. So leaving a cup of coffee with a note that says, I miss you, or we miss you, whatever. Carmella always preaches about that one-on-one personal interaction with her clients. And she's not out selling her hair care products. She's out making friends and making, building relationships with people who will potentially and eventually convert to clients. And that's all what she talks about. And I think that's important too. One of the things that I do with the YVI is part of my job is to run and manage the social media. And I take pride in spending time replying to tweets, replying back to comments, interacting with the LinkedIn comments, sharing posts from our portfolio companies, because it's all about that interaction and sort of building that brand and that relationship with people who will potentially, either support you if you're a nonprofit, buy your product if you are selling something. So it's important to really have that one-on-one personal interaction.
Yes. This is a perfect segue, Corey. I forgot all about that. Now, I highly recommend family will never quit on you. And when I say you're my family, I literally love you, right? I'm checking up on you. We're going to do some good stuff. We're going to sow into you as a person, because people buy purpose over products every day of the week.
Absolutely.
every day of the week. So I sent out an email to all of my clients. And you know what I said? I said, hey, sis, I miss you. I want to know how you're doing. Are you okay? 50%, the highest I have ever seen in my life, open up that email, right? And well over 20 or 30 people responded. Never in all 7 years I've been in Carmella Marie has anybody ever done that.
Yep.
People are going to remember how you made them feel.
Exactly.
And what you asked them to do while they were going through. Right?
Absolutely.
Now I got another one, Cor, because you made me remember. I'm so excited about this one. So I am sending out as many as I can. At first, my first round, I actually hand wrote about 20 I'm thinking of you notes and sent them out with a bag of tea, right? So they can have a stay-at-home tea with Carmella Marie. But now I'm like, my hand hurts. I'll never be able to get through 500 people that I need to send this to. So I actually made up a little note, have a stress-free moment with me, right? And I put their names on top when I do that. I put it in a very nice envelope, which I handwrite their mailing address, which I think that makes it personable. And then I put a bag of tea in there. And it's just to make people feel, know that they're thinking of you. I'm not doing this. I'm not asking them to buy anything. Like you said, yeah. I am just really trying to console people because this is serious. And at the end of the day, 85% of my clients are women, and they are either they live by themselves like me, or they're home with their husband or significant other, or they're home with husband, significant other, and children. And
we hear that one all the time.
Because the co-workers, aka the kids, are driving them up a wall. So I just want to be that sister friend, that person that's thinking of them and not running just ads online all day or asking for. Now, I did get in the mail from I won't say who it's from, but from an organization. And you know what they asked me for?
A donation.
A donation. I said, I was like,
I'm curious because this is an age-old thing too. So obviously we're in a time where people aren't working, people don't have near the money or the cash flow that they're used to. So as a nonprofit, this is an extra hard time. And I think we know that firsthand because YBI is a nonprofit. Yeah. So there are certain nonprofits that I've seen that are fundraising during this time. And I've also seen for-profit companies that are asking for donations as well. Now, the for-profit ones, they're asking for donations because they're going to do something and in turn and put it right back into the community, whether it's making PPE or PPE or whatever the case may be. But some nonprofits are, I don't want to say taking advantage of this, but this is a time where some nonprofits matter more than others. So, it's an interesting thing that kind of makes you think, and it's one of those things that, in my opinion, you really sort of are toking the line if you're a nonprofit at this point, because right now where we're at with the current state of things, some nonprofits matter, I think, a little bit more than others. You will not see, from a social standpoint, the business incubator that we both work for asking for anything, but we want everybody to know that even though we are a nonprofit, we're not asking you for money, but we're here to help, because at some point, the focus is going to be not making face shields and masks, but it's going to be, how do we rebuild the economy and rebuild our small businesses? And that's where we come in. And that's when, we're a little bit more relevant and more popular at that point. So funding, asking for money at this point, I don't think we're going to recommend anybody do it, but
for a non-essential reason.
Yeah.
No. So, and it wasn't any organization around here. I'm not going to go into what it was, but I felt personally was non-essential. And it was just their annual fundraiser. Right. So let's talk about that, because we have a lot of nonprofits in the area, small, big, medium. Right. So how do you maintain relevancy there? I believe that, I know like you said, people need money and they need to survive, and they're trying to pay payroll. But what you're doing is pivoting, right? So you might not be now having an after school program, but maybe you're just trying to make sure that all your kids are fed. You're trying to make sure that you are still be able to supply to them what they need for after school, right? You're trying to make sure there's activities that you can take and drop off at the doorstep. You might be trying to make sure that there are PPE being distributed or food being taken. There's been a lot of food being distributed around the Valley. And that was huge, where people have been volunteering. I know United Way and Community Foundation of Mahoney Valley, and even the city has been volunteering to give away food for Youngstown City schools. So there's been that huge. I just think that where the money is going used for is pivoting, right? And when we know that they're asking for money to help the Valley, the residents directly, it's different. It's just a different feel, you know? So it's all about how you ask. It really, I don't want to be like, oh, don't, that's not it.
So that's a good point, because I kind of I want to keep this moving, but that's a great point. You said it's how you ask. I think as you continue, or if you're a small business and you're considering making a certain pivot in order to stay relevant, your messaging is super important.
Yes.
And how you display this, and how you get the message out that you're, making a temporary pivot, because that's the thing too. What we're working with clients on right now about how to stay relevant, it's not necessarily a permanent pivot to their business. So, I mean, I don't know if you have anything to add, but, I'd talk a little bit more about that too, because I think messaging is critical.
Yeah, it goes back to the second P, is with your passion, your purpose. That needs to be a part of your message, right? It's not that you're pivoting to make money, because everybody needs to make money at this particular point. You're pivoting because you want to help build people. You want to make the Valley a better place. You want to show people who have extra time and can't get out how to make a pound cake or kolache, or do better braids so their hair don't fall out. So they see you next time at the hairdresser. Or it's okay.
You said pound cake, and I keep thinking of your aunt's pound cake. That's absolutely delicious. So I'm sidetracked.
I'm gonna try to make it. If I can do it right, I might do it. But right. So stuff like that, I don't think Bake Me Treats is open, but how can Bake Me Treats show me how to make a macaroon?
So, and here's something too. So you bring up Bake Me Treats, and I'm following all the food businesses at this point. I need to know who's doing curbside delivery or who's doing curbside pickup. That's an interesting business model as well. So a food business like Bake Me Treats, obviously they're known for their macarons and their different cakes because they're absolutely gorgeous. They're still open, but they've pivoted in the sense that they're not taking walk-in customers. You have to call ahead every single order. You text them when you're there, they bring it to your car. You prepay over the phone. So there's changes too that you can make. It might not be as busy as you're used to, but there's changes that you can make in order to keep some of that cash flow in. And that's a small operation too. That's not a restaurant with 20, part-time waitresses and waiters and 5 cooks in the kitchen. I mean, that's a 2 or 3 person operation. So there's things that you can do no matter what size business you are, which is also important.
And I would even, let's talk about agriculture, because for small farms and stuff, I don't know how that's going to affect them. But one of our other colleagues, Gianna, showed me how to grow some tomatoes with the seeds that I bought from my tomatoes that I got from the grocery store. So there could be, y'all, I don't know, you could take used egg cartons and put seeds in the dirt and plant it, and then sell those 4x4s and just leave them on the corner and put a little drop $1 for every 4. There is isn't there a farm where you just go buy what you want to buy and you honor system?
I believe so, but don't ask me the name of it at this point. But I mean, even another thing too, and obviously we work with entrepreneurs from all the realms. I mean, we work with tech, we work with women-owned, we work with Black-owned. It doesn't really matter, quite honestly, the type of business that you have. That's what we work with. We are here to support all entrepreneurs. Our tagline is elevating every entrepreneur. So, we're here to to sort of essentially help lift and elevate the Cultivate kitchens. You know, the Cultivate kitchen incubator up on Elm Street. They have that restaurant too. Mm-hmm. They're not open in their normal model anymore, but they're still open for whatever you may need. Wow. That's a great example of somebody that just works with small entrepreneurs. They're a food co-op and they work with the small local farmers. So, you know, if your normal store doesn't have eggs, maybe take the trip to Elm Street and buy the organic, you know, $4 a dozen egg that was made from, you know, farmers locally. So there's other things too that, you know, we're here to elevate the entrepreneurs. It's important, I think, to entrepreneurs to keep elevating other entrepreneurs. I mean, we're really all in this together. So
those are all good points, Cor. I think this topic is so relevant because we have so many awesome and amazing food businesses, hairdressers, you know.
Yeah, it's funny because, you know, someone like myself, I only know the companies that I support on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. But it's really interesting that, you know, there's an entire Facebook group called like Mahoning Valley Takeout now. And there's restaurant owners that are posting their takeout menus in there that I've never even heard of. So it's a great, as much as it's not a great time, it's great that there's now this exposure for some of those companies who don't typically get it. So this is another one of those examples of when this is over and when we start to rebuild, you know, support the small companies that we aren't typically supporting.
And I think for those, and we didn't talk about influencers now, you know, like, you know, food is huge no matter what city you go to. And you just said there's a ton more companies out there. You know, as an influencer, if you were to go do takeout, like just doing a live and eating the food and talking about it online, mm-hmm. would be a way to advertise for whatever that company is, right? To introduce them to your following. Even if you weren't a food blogger, you just might be really prominent in your community. You know, that would be a great piece where maybe you can get some free food in return for, right, $18, right? We're trying to be everybody free food in turn for, you know, you sharing with your 1,500 followers, 2,000 followers, or 500 followers who all love food and trust what you have to say. So that's a way you could do it. You know, you could pitch to those companies who are looking for new customers.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I kind of got derailed a little bit, but talking about sort of pivoting and staying relevant too, what else can you shed some light on? I know we talked about, you know, taking some of your knowledge and putting it on Teachable. We talked about your messaging and sort of staying relevant and being intentional with your messaging. I think that's the right word to use at this point. So what else should somebody really consider in order to keep their small business relevant? And I guess what I'm asking for here is what's something that's really industry agnostic that anybody listening can take and implement, you know, whether they're a nail tech, whether they're a network cybersecurity provider, whether they're a food-based business. What's something else that we can really shed some light on here?
What you can do to stay relevant. So the fastest growing or highest rate of open is text messages, right? Mm-hmm. Because everybody with Ellen DeGeneres and Gary Vaynerchuk sends me a text message at least 3 times a week. And I'm just like, what do you have to say? Let me open it. Oh, wow, let me check out your Facebook page, you know, and going on and on and on. Now, there are some tools for that. I should have had that ready, but I did not. Let me see if I can find Gary Vaynerchuk, and because he does text to a mass amount of people, right? But if not, I use good old, you know, text messages from and just using my phone, right? Community.com. Community.com is a way for you to upload text messages with numbers, right? And I'm not getting anything here right now. Fanatics, all-in challenge. No, that's not it. So sorry. That's not it. Anyways, we'll find something and we'll post it on here later. But text messaging is a really great piece. Nail tech. So if you were a service industry and you didn't sell any product, right? This is the time to start thinking about products that you could sell. I believe that places like Panera, you can actually go buy a gallon of milk, a quart of yogurt. Like they're selling groceries because they have all this stock. So if you are a nail tech and you had all these press-on nails at your place, why not design them and sell them and ship them out, right? If you had a special conditioner that only you as a stylist could get a hold of, why not repackage it and send out that special stuff to your actual clients in return for pay? I think that we really have to start getting steel. Right now, too many of us are running frantic. We're trying to buy up all the toilet paper and Lysol and Clorox. We're trying to, we keep ourselves in the noise as far as social media is concerned, and the news is really frantic. I believe that at least an hour out of the day, shut off your television, put down your phone, turn off everything, and I need you to sit still. I need you to start listening, right? Listening to what that still small voice has to say. Get you a journal, right? Because I can talk to you all day, but until you start doing a consistent assessment of who you are, your life, your business on a daily basis, none of it's going to matter.
Right.
And this is what I keep. I'll get a prettier journal. I can't get you. I'm using it. But this is one of my journals, right, that I use. It doesn't have to be pretty. It could be a Steino notebook, okay? Just plain old little notebook. And each has a different purpose to it, where I will write down my thoughts, ideas, where I am, how I felt, what happened today, what questions were my clients who I used to talk to all the time and see all the time asking me. And if you can start to see what the trend is of what your clients need, what your clients want, you're going to be able to come up with a tool or something that you can offer them. So,
and client feedback, customer feedback is crucial. Regardless of the type of business that you have, we preach day in and day out, listen to your customers. What are they wanting for? What are they asking for? What do they like? What don't they like? And take that information. That is firsthand information from the people who have or continue to support you. Right. Listen to them and take your potential pivot off of that. What are they wanting right now? What are they hurting for? And it's so valuable just to listen to your customers. I mean, who better to get feedback from than the people who support you?
Right. And get the feedback from them and take a look at now who these people are. Get your customer profile. We talk about this with our business model canvas all the time. Who is your customer, right? So if your customer was a customer who has kids and they never, now the kids are all at home all the time, all day, what does that parent need for their children, right? And you can do surveys on Facebook. You can do surveys via a text message. You can do, or just read through people's pages. If y'all scroll up Facebook, you can see, what people are doing and talking about and struggling with.
Absolutely. Everybody's online right now, and everybody has an opinion, and everybody is letting you know their opinion. And if they're not posting it on Facebook, they're probably going live on Instagram, because the amount of Instagram live feeds has skyrocketed during all this. And I'm guilty of it. And you're guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. And even if it's just to talk about nonsense, it's to talk about like the most recent Real Housewives episode. I mean, it's just nonsense. But there's something that you can get from any of that knowledge, because it lets you know what's the current trend.
Yes. Stick close to your family customer members, and they're going to tell you. And this is so cool, Cor. I think that these are all things that I know we're recording, and we're gonna post this and stuff. I'm gonna go back to this and listen to it over again, because these are all key basics. Understanding your customer, what do they need? How can you help and support them in their current time? And is it going to be easy? No.
entrepreneurship's not easy.
It's not for the
If it was easy, everybody would do it and everybody would be successful. And obviously, you know, there's always that once in a lifetime unicorn startup that we talk about. But it's not easy, and it's not meant to be easy because it takes a certain type of person to, you know, do it well and be successful at it. And it's something that can be learned. You know, it's not something that you just have to have it within you. It takes a certain type of person, but it's a skill that can be learned.
Yes. If you never quit, right?
Exactly. Persistence.
Persistence is key. Grit is key. You know, persistence, consistency, and grit. I could have gave up a long time ago with Carmella Marie the first time somebody looked upside my head and was like, your stuff suck. And I was just like, huh, does it really? But I took that as fuel, not to burn me up and burn down the place, but to actually push me further and further out. I think this is a time where we have to take this pain point and use it as a tool to push us further, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Rocket fuel is there. It can cause lots of damage, but when it's properly funneled and put in the right vehicle, it can take off 200 people off of this earth into the air, several thousand feet up, and get them to another part of the country.
Yep.
So I will say this, in our pivoting, you are strong, you are skilled, and if you don't quit, you deserve to win.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So we've been on here for almost an hour at this point, which is crazy because it feels like we just started. But I threw up some information that's sort of scrolling at the bottom of the screen, and that's our website and then just a general email for YBI. So we've got a number of different resources available on our website. We have a list, a page specifically related to COVID-19, which is obviously a hot topic at this point. But we have a entire page that lists a bunch of different resources that have come specifically out of this certain time. And then I wanted to put up our general info email. So that email goes directly to myself. But at this point, because we are working remote as well as everybody, that is really the best way to get a hold of us. We are here regardless of the type of industry, regardless of your startup, regardless of your race, ethnicity, age, income level. It does not matter. If you are an entrepreneur and you need some sort of resource, that is what we are here for. That is why YBI exists. And that's why we've really grown our programs to be able to service more people. So if anybody out here listening has, you know, even if it's just one or two questions, or you really want to sort of map out a plan or talk about a potential pivot, feel free to reach out to us. I will put you personally in touch with the correct person that can sort of best service you. We just have to get some general information from you before we put you in contact with a counselor, but we're here to help and service, you know, any entrepreneur, regardless of industry. You could be a restaurant owner, you could be a clothing maker, it doesn't matter. That's what we're here for as a nonprofit in the Valley. And quite honestly, too, Carmella can speak to this. We don't have to work with you if you're not in the Youngstown area. We work with anybody within the state of Ohio. We work with anybody in the counties from Ashtabula all the way down to Jefferson, Monroe, Belmont. I mean, all the counties on this side of the state.
Yeah.
So even if you know somebody that lives in one of those counties or doesn't live in Youngstown but is a business owner, tag them in the comments, share this video with them. Our resources are free. We're not here to get anything out of this other than to help elevate your business to the next level. So I want to leave some time. I don't know if anybody has any questions, but if anybody has questions for us, feel free to drop those in the comments. You can reach out to us with the info email that I've got scrolling across the bottom, or reach out to us, look at our page, our website for more information. We're going to be doing a lot more. I say a lot more with a heavy heart because I don't want to inundate everybody with webinars and live videos. But we're going to be doing more of these types of just general conversations, and how can we give you little nuggets of knowledge to sort of take a potential pivot with your business and stay relevant at this time. Kelly Ashby reached out and said, "Can we help her? She's in South Dakota." Kelly Ashby is one of our great stories that we've had come out of YBI. She went through our Women in Entrepreneurship program. Carmella knows her very well, and she's got a really awesome consulting business that just cool stuff. I can't even explain it. And she travels all over to give her knowledge to anybody. She travels from South Dakota all the way back to Youngstown sometimes. So we can work with anybody. Kelly was in Ohio when we worked with her, so let's not get crazy here. But but yeah, we're here to help.
We are truly here. You said that excellent for.
And we're fortunate to have great business consultants like Carmella, the rest of our MBAC team, our entrepreneurship team. We've got knowledge all over. We've got technical expertise. We've got someone who worked within the food industry. We've got somebody who worked in government industry. Carmella has consumer packaged goods. So we've really got a vast array of knowledge that we can pass along. What else you got for us, Carmella? Leave us with a nugget of knowledge.
A nugget of knowledge. If not now, when? I want you to take all this stuff and ponder it, but I don't want you to sit on it too long thinking you have to implement what we're talking about and it be perfect. Start at the small. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Start at the smallest point and then build it up. If you get one person that purchases a digital thing from you or purchases something that you've made from this because you saw this, that is a huge win. And we want to hear that win, right? And then grow, right? So you're going to, and maybe that's might be what we can do is basically how to launch your new pivoted business, right? So I just want to say, just do it. Stay strong. Know that we are definitely in this together. You are not alone. We are here to help you. We are here to support you. And a lot of my clients know that they've contacted me on weekends and I've responded because this is life-changing stuff.
Yeah.
And this is so serious. So that's why we work as hard as we do, because we know that this is serious. But we also know that we believe in the framework that we provide and that if you implement that, we have faith that it can work because it's worked for us individually. So,
yep. Okay. Absolutely. All right. Well, I think we will close it out here. Thanks so much, Carmella, for hopping on with me today during our lunch hour. But like I said, we'll close it out here. If anybody has any other questions, feel free to reach out to us. Visit us at ybi.org. Send us an email at info@ybi.org. Comes to me directly. We will get you in the right direction. We'll just end it with our saying that we are here to elevate every entrepreneur. Have a good one, everybody.